Warned my girlfriend that guy only wanted one thing, but she insisted he was just a friend, and went to his party. Decided to see for myself. Walked in as he whispered into her ear, his fingers grazing her shoulder. He noticed me, smirked, and said, "What's your deal, man?" A few seconds later, his deal was a broken jaw, and mine was a new relationship status. I never thought I'd be the guy sharing his personal life online, but here I am. Maybe putting it into words will help me make sense of it all. Sarah and I had been together for 3 years. She was the kind of person who could walk into a room and make everyone feel like they'd known her forever. Her laughter was infectious, and she had this way of making you feel like the most important person in the world when she talked to you. I was drawn to her light, and for a long time, I felt lucky to be the one she chose to share it with. Our relationship had its rhythms. We'd spend weekends exploring new coffee shops, debating over which movie to watch, or just lounging around, enjoying each other's company. We had our disagreements, sure, but nothing that ever made me question our foundation. That was until Jake entered the picture. Jake was a new addition to Sarah's circle. They met at a mutual friends gathering, and from then on, his name started popping up more frequently in our conversations. Jake said the funniest thing today, or, Jake recommended this book, you should check it out. At first, I didn't think much of it. Sarah had male friends, and I'd always trusted her. But there was something about the way she talked about Jake that unsettled me. One evening, as we were preparing dinner together, I decided to voice my feelings. "Sarah, I've noticed you've been spending a lot of time with Jake. Is there something I should know?" She looked up from chopping vegetables, a hint of surprise in her eyes. "What do you mean?" "Jake's just a friend. You have nothing to worry about." I wanted to believe her. I really did. But the nagging feeling in my gut wouldn't subside. A few weeks later, Jake invited Sarah to a party at his place. She was excited about it and encouraged me to come along. Unfortunately, I had an early meeting the next day and declined. "Go ahead and have fun," I told her. "Just keep me posted." That night, as I lay in bed trying to sleep, unease gnawed at me. I couldn't shake off the image of Sarah and Jake together, laughing, sharing moments that I wasn't a part of. Around midnight, I decided I couldn't ignore my instincts any longer. I got dressed and drove to Jake's place. The party was in full swing when I arrived. Music blared from the speakers, and groups of people were scattered throughout the house, engaged in animated conversations. I weaved through the crowd, searching for Sarah. My heart pounded in my chest, each beat echoing my growing apprehension. Then I saw her. She was standing near the back of the room, a drink in her hand, laughing at something Jake was saying. He leaned in closer, his lips dangerously near her ear, his hand resting lightly on her shoulder. The intimate gesture sent a surge of anger through me. Taking a deep breath, I approached them. Jake noticed me first, a smirk playing on his lips. "Hey, man," he drawled, clearly enjoying the situation. "What's your deal?" I clenched my fists, trying to keep my composure. "My deal? You're getting a bit too close to my girlfriend." Sarah turned to face me, her eyes wide with surprise. "It's not what it looks like," she began, but I couldn't listen. Jake chuckled, a condescending sound that pushed me over the edge. Without thinking, I swung my fist, connecting squarely with his jaw. The impact sent him stumbling backward, crashing into a table and sending drinks flying. Gasps echoed around the room as conversations halted, all eyes now on us. Sarah grabbed my arm, pulling me away. "What are you doing?" she hissed, her face a mix of anger and disbelief. I shook her off, my vision blurred with a mix of rage and betrayal. "I warned you about him," I spat. "But you didn't listen." Tears welled up in her eyes, but I couldn't find it in me to comfort her. The trust we had was shattered. I left the party, the cool night air doing little to calm my storming emotions. Sarah didn't follow me this time. The following days were a haze. Sarah tried reaching out, leaving messages and texts, but I couldn't bring myself to respond. The image of her and Jake was seared into my mind. Eventually, we met up to talk. She apologized, insisting that nothing had happened between her and Jake, that it was all a misunderstanding. But the damage was done. Trust, once broken, is a difficult thing to rebuild. We decided to take some time apart, to figure things out. As much as it pained me, I knew it was for the best. Looking back, I realized that relationships are built on trust and communication. Ignoring your instincts can lead to situations like mine. It's essential to voice your concerns and listen to your partner, but also to pay attention to the signs that something might be amiss. The silence between Sarah and me lasted about 2 weeks. Long enough for me to almost convince myself that I'd overreacted. Long enough for her to start dating Jake. Yeah. You read that right. I found out through a mutual friend. One of those friends who tries to keep it neutral, but can't help letting something slip. We were grabbing coffee, and he said, "I saw Sarah and Jake at the farmer's market. Looked like a couple." Just dropped it like that. Like it was nothing. I didn't react right away. I just sat there, nodded, and sipped my coffee like it didn't feel like someone had just poured boiling water directly into my chest. I went home, closed the door behind me, and just sat in the dark for a long time. I wanted to believe it was a rebound thing. Maybe she was lonely. Maybe she was confused. Maybe this would burn out fast, and she'd come back, say it was a mistake. But over the next few days, the rumors got louder. Photos started showing up on social media. Them at the park. Them at some rooftop bar downtown. One of the pictures, Jake had his arm around her, and she looked up at him like he was her whole world. I won't lie. I almost messaged her that night. But something in me just stopped. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was just exhaustion. I didn't want to beg for someone who looked that happy with someone else. Then came the real twist. One night, I get a knock on my door. I opened it and found Sarah standing there, in tears. Mascara running, hair messy, wearing one of those jackets she only pulled out when she was really upset. She didn't say anything right away. Just stared at me like she was hoping I'd read her mind. "Jake hit me," she finally said, barely above a whisper. I blinked. "What?" "We got into a fight. I accused him of texting other girls. He lost it. Pushed me. Grabbed my arm. Said some things I can't repeat." I let her in. Sat her down. Got her water. Tried to stay calm while my head screamed. Sarah had never been the type to lie about something like that. She wasn't dramatic. She didn't make up stories for sympathy. If she said it happened, I believed her. But I was stuck between two fires. I was still angry at her. Still heartbroken. Still dealing with everything she and Jake had done. But now I was staring at someone I once loved, scared and hurt. And there it was, the twist I never saw coming. She looked up at me with swollen eyes and said, "I shouldn't have gone to that party. I messed everything up. But I didn't cheat. I swear on everything. I didn't do anything with him until after we broke up." I just sat there. No words. Then she said something that made my blood run cold. "He's not just a jerk. He's dangerous. I think he's following me." I stared at her. He was parked outside my job yesterday. Just sitting there. Watching. Didn't even try to hide it. I asked my coworker to walk me out. He sped off, but I don't feel safe. So now I'm here. Trying to figure out what the hell to do next. I don't know if she's back because she regrets what she did, or because she's scared and needs someone to lean on. Or maybe both. I told her she could crash on the couch for the night. I stayed up the whole time. Couldn't sleep. Just stared at the ceiling thinking about everything. What am I supposed to do? Do I help her and risk getting dragged into more chaos? Or walk away and leave her to deal with the monster she chose? The next morning, Sarah was still asleep on the couch when I left for work. I told her to lock the door behind me and keep her phone close. I wasn't sure what I was doing anymore, if I was protecting someone I still loved or just doing what any decent person would. But that day, everything twisted again. Around noon, I got a message from a blocked number. No name. Just a photo. It was me and Sarah, leaving my apartment the night before. The angle was weird, like it was taken from a car across the street. My stomach dropped. Then another message came in. You think she came back because she loves you? Ask her what happened last summer when you went to see your mom. I stared at the screen. My hands were shaking. I hadn't thought about that trip in a while. My mom had been recovering from surgery, and I spent 2 weeks in Ohio with her. Sarah had stayed behind, said she had work and couldn't take time off. I never questioned it. When I got back, things felt a little different. I chalked it up to the long distance, the stress of my mom's health. We didn't fight. But something had shifted. That message brought it all back. That night, when I got home, Sarah was sitting up, scrolling on her phone. She looked up and gave me a tired smile, like nothing had happened. I didn't smile back. Just held up my phone. What's this? I asked. She looked confused at first, then pale. Where did you get that? Doesn't matter. Who took it? Jake? She didn't answer right away. Just sat there, like she was deciding whether to lie again or finally come clean. I didn't cheat on you, she said. Not then. Not ever. I stared at her. Then what happened while I was gone? She looked down. Her fingers twisted into the hem of her sleeve. I went to a cabin. With friends. I laughed bitterly. That's not a lie. But it's not the truth either. Silence. Then she whispered. Jake was there. My heart felt like it stopped. But nothing happened, she said quickly. I swear. We flirted, maybe. I liked the attention. I was lonely. You were gone, and I felt like you were pulling away. I backed up, suddenly needing space between us. So that whole time, you were testing the waters with him? Tears again. She was good at crying. I used to think they were genuine. I made a mistake, she said. But I didn't sleep with him. Not then. I didn't want to hear any more. I walked into the kitchen, splashed cold water on my face, tried to breathe. Then my phone buzzed again. Another blocked message. Ask her who let me in that night. Before she started calling me a psycho. I walked back to the living room. Showed her the text. She paled again. I don't know what he's talking about, she said too fast. You sure? Then came the last twist I was ready for. She stood up and screamed. He's blackmailing me. I just stared. I let him in that night because he said he'd show you pictures. Fake ones. Stuff he edited. He said if I didn't let him in and talk, he'd ruin everything. He made threats. Said he knew where you worked, where my parents lived. She was shaking now. Full-blown panic. Why didn't you tell me any of this? I asked, trying to keep my voice from breaking. Because I was ashamed. Because I thought I could fix it. I didn't think he'd go this far. I didn't know what to say. Jake wasn't just a rebound. He was obsessed. Dangerous. And somehow, Sarah had let him in, literally and figuratively. And now we were both caught in his twisted game. I haven't called the cops yet. Not sure if it's time or if we even have enough to go on. But something tells me this isn't over. The days that followed were like walking across thin ice in a storm. I kept Sarah at my place, mostly out of concern, partly out of unfinished feelings. She slept on the couch. We barely spoke. She kept checking the windows, peeking out like Jake might be crouched in the bushes. I started sleeping with my phone in hand. But it was all building towards something. We both knew it. One night I came home from work to find my front door unlocked. My stomach dropped. I pushed it open slowly. Everything looked fine. Until I saw Sarah's face. She was sitting on the floor, holding her phone, shaking. He said he's coming, she whispered. I didn't ask who. I already knew. I closed the door and locked it. Double-checked every window. We were both quiet, listening for anything. A knock? A car pulling up. Then my phone buzzed. Hope you're ready to talk face to face. I've got nothing left to lose. That was it. No name. No threats. Just that. I'm calling the police, I said. Sarah stood up fast. No, wait. Let me talk to him. If you call them, he'll lose it. He might actually do something crazy. I don't care anymore, Sarah. You should have called them 2 months ago. Another knock. Not loud. Just 2 slow taps. I opened the door without thinking. And there he was. Jake. Tall. Calm. Wearing this smug, too casual grin like he wasn't standing outside the apartment of the woman he hit. Evening, he said, looking past me. Sarah here? I stepped out and shut the door behind me, so she was inside. You need to leave. He didn't flinch. I just want to talk. She owes me that. She doesn't owe you a damn thing. Funny. That's not what she said the night she invited me over. My blood boiled. That was before you got violent. Jake's smirk faded for the first time. She told you that? She told me everything. She tell you she begged me to keep our night quiet? I blinked. What? Oh yeah? Cried. Said you'd leave her if you found out? Begged. Said it meant nothing, she just wanted someone to hold her while you were off playing nurse to your mommy. I swung. I didn't even feel my fist move. Just the impact. His nose crunched under it. He staggered back, hit the railing of the staircase behind him, and collapsed to one knee. The door flew open behind me. Sarah. She screamed his name, not mine. Ran past me, crouched by him. Checked if he was okay. I just stood there, frozen. That moment, it changed everything. Jake looked up at her, blood running from his nose, and laughed. Told you he'd snap. She turned to me. You didn't have to hit him. You could have just. I didn't hear the rest. I walked back inside. Locked the door. She stayed out there with him. The fallout hit hard and fast. She packed her stuff the next day. Didn't say much. Just grabbed her bag and paused in the doorway. You were never around, you know, she said softly. That's how this started. I didn't respond. She left. Our mutual friends split down the middle. Some took my side. Said I did the right thing. Others blamed me for escalating it. Said I should have walked away. But here's the truth no one talks about. You can love someone and still know you're better off without them. The days after were numb. I kept thinking about that moment, her rushing to him, not me. It stung deeper than anything he ever did. Eventually, I went to therapy. Talked it out. Dug up stuff I'd buried for years. Realized I had a habit of saving people who didn't want to be saved. Realized I'd confused love with rescue. Jake didn't press charges. Guess he knew he had more to lose if it went public. Sarah moved back in with her sister, last I heard. Jake's out of the picture, probably moved on to some new drama. As for me, I'm rebuilding. Slowly. Not ready to date. Not ready to trust. But I'm okay with that. I finally know what it feels like to stand still and breathe. People always say time heals everything. That's not true. Time doesn't heal. Truth does. And the truth is, she wasn't mine anymore the second she stopped running to me. Maybe I should have seen that sooner. But I see it now.